Mohawk Lake Clean Up. This man-made lake is located within the city limits of Brantford on property adjacent to the Glebe lands, which are owned by Six Nations of the Grand River. Member of Parliament for Brant, Phil McColeman, has initiated an effort to clean up this lake, and Six Nations does have representation on the working group. The working group has hosted 2 knowledge sharing and visioning workshops to understand the history of the lake and to share any community knowledge and to align the vision for the future of the lake. They will be holding a session at Six Nations Tourism on Thursday, May 14th from 6:30 to 9:30, and community members are encouraged to attend. If you would like more information on this project, please contact Paul General at 519-445-0330. I also wanted to let the community know that Six Nations has a representative now on the Brantford Six Nations Impaired and Distracted Driving Advisory Committee. Councillor Sheri-Lyn Hill-Pierce will be representing Six Nations on that committee and taking part in their activities. And let's all remember, do not drink or text while driving. I want to talk a bit about the United Nations Permanent Forum on Indigenous Issues. Councillor Darrell Hill, Phil Montour, and myself attended the UN Permanent Forum on Indigenous Issues in New York City last week. We were successful in being able to make an intervention to the forum members on Six Nations land rights. If you want to read my presentation or watch the video, you can do that on our webpage or through Six Nations Elected Council Facebook page. After the Permanent Forum was over, I received an email from North America's representative on the Permanent Forum, Chief Ed John, who informed me of a recommendation that the Permanent Forum was making subsequent to all the interventions that they heard. Now, the Permanent Forum refers to the countries from around the world as states. So in their recommendation where it says states, it actually means countries. So Canada, US, Russia, Germany, they're all referred to as states. And I want to read you the recommendation because I think it's pretty awesome that this came out of our intervention. The Permanent Forum is concerned that legal obligations and commitments in Indigenous peoples' treaties, agreements, and other constructive arrangements with states are routinely denied or violated by states. With respect to interventions by Indigenous peoples on unresolved land rights, including Six Nations of the Grand River and others, the Permanent Forum calls on states to fairly and equitably redress the long-standing unresolved land rights issues through good faith negotiations consistent with the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People and without extinguishing Indigenous peoples' land rights. So that was the recommendation, and I think that's going to be very useful for us as we continue to push for our struggles on land rights and to get people back to the table to negotiate our land rights. The Six Nations Elected Council adopted a declaration declaring the week of April 25th to May 1st as National Immunization Week. This was done in the hope that we could get more parents to ensure that they get their kids immunized and get the needles that they need. From the reports I received, I understand it was a very successful week, but we still want to encourage people to make sure that the immunizations are given to their kids. I want to talk and give you a heads up on a concert that we're planning for July 18th related to the Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women Initiative. Further to the Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women event that was held in Thunder Bay in February, we have worked with the families at Six Nations who have lost a loved one in an effort to see how we can provide more education and awareness about the missing and murdered Indigenous women. We have planned to hold a concert at Chiefswood Park on July 18th, and Derek Miller, who's one of our musicians and Juno Award winners, is working with us on this concert and will be performing along with a number of local artists. We will also be having space for information booths, crafts vendors, and food vendors. We will provide more information on this initiative as the plans get finalized. So save that date, July 18th at Chiefswood Park. We have also been approached by the Shrine Circus. They will be holding their circus at Ancaster Fairgrounds on June 19th and 20th and 21st. They have asked us if we wanted to secure a special section for Six Nations, and we have said yes, we would. So we're going to reserve a special section for the evening of Saturday, June 20th. I think the circus will start at 7:30. For the Six Nations section, tickets are $10 per ticket. The regular price is $35, so this is a good deal they're giving us. And tickets can be purchased at our office here in Ashwegan, the council office, at the 5 schools, O.M. Smith, J.C. Hill, Jameson, MEC General, I.L. Thomas, and at the 2 daycares. We have a limited amount, so it will be a first come, first serve. So we don't have the tickets yet, and we're getting the posters out. So watch for the flyers. Once the flyers are out, we'll get the tickets at those locations for sale. So I think it'll be a fun night for families to come out and enjoy the circus.